Hello everyone and welcome back to my next concept and analysis video. So for today, we're going to be going over the placebo effect and its counterpart, the nocebo effect. So, they kind of range on a continuum where the placebo effect has to do with a person having positive thoughts, positive beliefs about the outcome of a treatment or some form of medication they're taking, for example. And through their positive outlook of it, it's going to impact them in a positive way. Whereas the nocebo effect is the exact opposite. So they're receiving a treatment or medication once again, but they have a negative outview of the consequences of engaging with it, and it will impact them equally to the amount of negativity they have associated with it. So this is a pretty interesting concept to get us into kind of assessing the power of our thoughts in our life and how they can shape and manifest our reality. So it may sound a bit in the spiritual or religious realm for some of you. And for those of you who do have those kinds of beliefs, maybe it will make more sense for you to look at it from that kind of a perspective, because the results that we can see through this concept are quite amazing, how some people can come to be affected by the power of their mind. Okay, so I thought this would be interesting to outline, because often we go about through our life and people like to give us a lot of their points of views, a lot of their information, tell us their beliefs, and maybe subconsciously we just take it on without really processing how that may affect us. They could be any kinds of beliefs. Like, you often hear people talking about, as you get older, it gets harder, to do certain activities, gets harder to get out of bed, get motivated. Maybe if you take on that kind of thought about those things, that's going to affect you, rather than being more positive and not accepting someone else's belief about that. So it just brings our awareness to our belief systems, and it can help us get more in control of our life and manifesting the life we want to have, I would say. So let's dig into it and unpack what the placebo effect means and what nocebo effect means. So I'll just read you guys a short passage on each of those concepts, just to help you understand better exactly what it is we're talking about. So for the placebo effect, it does read here: the placebo effect is defined as a phenomenon in which some people experience a benefit after the administration of an inactive lookalike substance or treatment. This substance or placebo has no known medical effect. Sometimes the placebo is in the form of a pill, such as a sugar pill, but it can also be an injection, saline solution, or consumable liquid. In most cases, the person does not know the treatment they are receiving is actually a placebo. Instead, they believe that they are the recipient of the real treatment. The placebo is designed to seem exactly like the real treatment, yet the substance has no actual effect on the condition it purports to treat. So that is amazing information, isn't it, if you think about it? So basically, a doctor could just come into a room with a fake pill. Supposedly it's medication, but it's just a sugar pill. Give it to someone who's experiencing a condition. Go ahead and explain the benefits they're going to receive by consuming this pill and taking it over a period of time. And just because the doctor is in a powerful position, they have that aura about themselves that comes with the knowledge of what they're doing. The person is very gripped by them, what they're saying, and it really channels their belief system to believe in exactly what the doctor is saying. And it activates that aspect of their mind where, even though it's a fake form of treatment, it heals the person. So we should really have a deep think about what we're choosing to accept as true for ourselves mentally, if anything. Because you can really see you can shape your life very greatly by just channeling your beliefs in certain things. So that's the placebo effect. It basically means, even though the treatment is not legitimate, like it's a fake form, but the person is made to believe it, it affects them still in a positive way. Okay, so it changes the status of their body or whatever illness or condition they're going through. So that is the placebo effect. Next up, we've got the nocebo effect. So with the nocebo effect, it's the exact opposite. It reads the nocebo effect. Conversely, individuals can experience more symptoms or side effects as a response to a placebo. When it says placebo, it's referring to this, the nocebo effect, a response that is sometimes referred to as the nocebo effect. For example, a patient might report having headaches, nausea, or dizziness in response to this form of effect. So it's just exactly what we described for the placebo, but it's the negative consequence. So a person may be led to believe that by engaging in some form of treatment, having something happen to them, ingest something that, they may die, something terrible may happen to them. And then because of those negative thoughts and beliefs they have about that form of treatment, they actually end up manifesting those kinds of symptoms within themselves. And, in some cases, some people have actually died from this, believe it or not. So recently I had a friend reach out to me and explain they went to go see a doctor, and the doctor, did some scans on their body and found that my friend's been going through some back pain. And in the area where he's been having back pain, the doctor said you may have some cancerous kinds of spots forming there, right? And, I went ahead and I told my friend about a story I knew relating to the nocebo effect. And to cut a long story short, there was a person who went to a doctor and they had some scans done. And on the scan, the doctor found a black spot and had told the patient that the black spot was cancer and that you've got so many months to live, 6 months, I think it was, to live, something like that. And basically told the patient, go ahead and get ready. That's your life expectancy. Have things in place, say your goodbyes. And the patient believed this, right? Because the doctor told them that. So the patient went ahead, they got everything in place. They had funeral arrangements in place. They spent whatever time they had left with their family, and they ended up dying, as the doctor said. But the incredible thing is that later on, someone ended up reviewing the scans and found that that black dot was actually not cancerous. It was just a benign kind of symptom that the person had. So, man, that really tells you, we have to be so careful what we're going to accept and integrate into our being as true in our life, because it can be either very positive or very devastating for us, okay? So have a think over that scenario, that example, and see how that works for you in your everyday life. If you believe perhaps on a lower scale, you're taking in some beliefs that could be impacting you on a negative level, try to be more conscious of what it is you're exactly taking on board and how that works for you. Okay, so since we are talking about the power of the mind and how channeling our belief systems can manifest our reality and what we're able to do with our bodies and the condition of our bodies, I think showing the Shaolin monks training is a really good example of using our mind consciously to develop our body in a certain way to gain a certain effect. And although we're not talking in forms of treatment here, specifically as in a doctor giving a pill or receiving some kind of medical treatment, the concept is very similar. So let's go ahead and check out how these Shaolin monks condition their bodies through the power of their mind. So he's levitating with a rope around his neck. Look at that. So they have to have a lot of focus to do this, right? A lot of self-control. Oh, wow. That could kill anyone else. So that's incredible to see what this individual was able to do through the use of channeling their mind and focusing on a certain outcome, right? They must have a lot of belief in themselves and what they can do to generate that kind of physical strength. This person was hanging from the ceiling by a rope under the neck, getting full strikes to the neck with a wooden pole. That's, you know, any regular person who's not trained, not mentally conditioned enough to endure that kind of physical hardship would sustain serious injury. So we can tie this back to the placebo effect, in that obviously these people who train this art, they have the belief system that by putting themselves through this kind of training, they're only going to get stronger, more physically conditioned, and that they can endure more stress on the body of this nature. So yeah, it is a good concept to reflect on your everyday lives, guys, and I hope it can open your mind to the power of your mind and what you can achieve with it with the right focus.